welcome to the basics. Today we're going to be working on this Kings of War miniature that I just painted within 3 hours. So, welcome back to the basics. This is a show where pretty much everyone's a level 1 creator here for miniature painting or terrain building. This is your first steps to becoming a miniature painter or a terrain builder. And today we're going to be painting one of these Kings of War miniatures. And yeah. At first I was going to be doing a Dragonlance looking character from this DD Beyond, Human Barbarian. But I looked and I might as well do a character for my Celestial Skies game that I was working on. But then I was like, not a lot of people know what this is. But then I saw another character. Boom, he's missing a hand, so I gotta find his arm. I don't know where it's at. Then my sister said, hey, just do this one. And I was like, alright, might as well, because that looks like the type of thing that I'll do. And it's from a Kings of War army. They are kind of like fish people. The way it looked, I thought it was pretty dope. I put this together and it's pretty much the only one that I made. It looked like a Aquaman gladiator outfit from Aquaman, or at least one of the army people. And so I got inspiration from that. And the style is pretty simple. It's not much. I really wanted to go more of a simplicity style. And so to start off with, I do have these Model Master paints. I did talk about them on my other channel before and what I've done, and most of them are enamel and most of them are acrylic. Try to look for the acrylic ones. They run a bit more smoother onto your paints. The enamels do work well too as well, but there's a little bit more extra steps with those enamel paints and everything else. Typically you would have to shake it up pretty much all the time. I like to put the bottles upside down because the paint runs, basically if you don't use them in a certain amount of time, the paint separates from the solution to make the paint stick. So I usually stick them upside down, and then when I do shake them up, it's a lot more easier to shake up instead of trying to have to dig out the paint and try to make it more of a better consistent paint and everything else. And if so, I did start that off with the flag. And now let's get on to the skin of it. This is just acrylic paints right here again. You can use whatever paint you guys got, Army Painter, Vallejo, my Model Masters, or anything else. I use all types of paints. I use as much paint as I could. I dramatically use different paints all the time. What I used was a green and a turquoise and a little bit of white in this whole thing, and I wanted this to look like a skin character from like Street Fighter 4, Baraka, also one of those classic cartoony fantasy monsters about how sea creatures look if they were a monster, and I thought it turned out pretty well, and pretty much everything else. Now we're going to be using a Model Master Brass color, which is like a metallic. There at Hobby Lobby, you can have these Model Master paints. Try to look for the one that has the grouping. It has a knight on it, and it is great for plastics, it says, and it's great for, you don't even have to prime for it, and it has a lot of colors, and it is kind of pricey. When I did buy it, it was about like $26 for each of those. I think they're about like 3 ounces of paint, so pretty pricey, but the metallics do spread a lot out, so it's a lot easier to mix too. So I highly recommend that, but everything else. And when I'm spreading it around, like I said, this model may be a little bit too bright, but I'm going to be hitting it with some washes with it. And I really like how it's simplistic and everything. This is not a miniature for playing, it is a miniature for an army, so you're going to need a lot of time and, you know, something quick and simple for an army. You can hit each miniature up with, you know, a lot of details and everything, but when you're trying to build an army, you just want them all to look alike and everything to be simplistic, and boom, you got it. You can set it out on the table and people can recognize that, oh, that's one of your guys and everything else, so it is not that bad. After all that has been dried, the hair is with, I had to experiment on it a couple of times, but I was looking at how the hair looked in Aquaman, how most sea monsters, and I don't want to say her name, Amber Heard's character, and how her hair was super red. I wanted to look for that much hair, but I wanted it at least a little bit more darker toned to that. But I'm pretty proud of that. It's just red, very little black, very little. Try to use as much less black, and I used some of their the skin tone on there too, onto that tone of hair. I did put some onto the main shield and inside the mouth and everything else, which did look pretty good too. I eventually changed it, which you guys didn't see. I did use a red enamel for a brighter red that has more of a sparkle into it, but I did use that. And as for the stand that it's holding off, I'm just painting that simple black. People say, why not wood color? Well, these people are from the sea. I'm pretty sure the wood would warp within seawater and everything else, so black, you can say, oh, they use a different kind of a pole or anything into the whole thing where it kind of just turns non-black. And I don't know, say it's like a sea urchin's, you know, thing and stuff. And as soon as we do, we start hitting it with the strong tone. The strong tone is pretty nice. You hit it with the washes and everything, and it just turns, and it tones everything down. You still get that shine and glimmer, but it tones everything down and everything. I do like washes, as I do like dry brushing. Washes, like, legit, like I said, this thing fills in cracks where everything else just makes everything feel real and everything. And after that, we're going to be hitting it with some Mod Podge for everything. I feel like I could have thinned that Mod Podge out a little bit more. Felt a little bit too thick on there, but at the end result, it did look pretty good. And I like it a lot. I really like it a lot. Now imagine doing these for an army. So, like I said, if you want something more simplistic, probably grab another miniature that's not as much simplistic. So. My only regret that I probably do have, I probably put a glove. I probably should have like highlighted the face a little bit more to make it pop out. But it's a pretty simple miniature, and it turned out pretty good. And for using all these basic techniques, you can pretty much bust these out and make a quick army for any of these 4 Kings of War, and I like it a lot, and yeah. So I hope you like it. I do have a Patreon if you want to support that. I do want. I will have Terrain Thursday. I will have that on Thursdays, but that's going to be bi-weekly. Turns out me building terrain takes a long time, and building bigger stuff like that takes a long time. Manager Mondays is going to still be the same Manager Mondays, because most managers take me pretty much not that long of a time. So Manager Monday is still going to be every Monday thing, but Train Thursday is going to be a bi-weekly thing. So on every Thursday, it's going to be pretty much a bi-weekly thing, because most of my terrain takes a long time, and you know, due to all the weather, it's been getting colder and stuff. It's taking a lot longer to dry and stuff, so you know, you always have to counteract with the weather and everything from drying and stuff. So but yeah, expect on Terrain Thursday to be coming up soon, because I am almost done with that. And yeah, but thank you for watching. Like and comment, subscribe if you continue on liking this stuff. I do. And yeah, alright.